got it. It took a minute. So welcome everyone to Tarot Delights. I'm Rhonda Gilbert of Goddess Garage, and you are?
I am Kayla from Wayward Spirit.
Yeah. So we're gonna, well, it's tarot and other delights. So anything mystical, magical, that sort of thing, we talk about. But I wanted to talk today about tarot cards that reveal burnout even before you feel it, which is
Ooh, that's a hot topic.
it is, and I think it's coming up a lot more in a lot of people's readings because they're often feeling, they think they're feeling stuck, whereas they're actually feeling tired, and yeah, like often you can do that where you feel kind of tired as opposed to you're not stuck, you just need a good night's sleep, right? So I picked out some cards that often come up, and recently I myself have kind of been going through a similar phase.
Okay.
Because I closed the shop, and I know I needed to, and I did some readings to sit with it, and I quietly, I felt, kind of closed my shop and
Okay. Yep.
quietly kind of withdrew myself from the world a little bit. Now there was some concerns with my granddaughter and stuff too, but I consulted tarot before I made the decision, because oftentimes I hold on to things way longer than I should, and I let myself kind of build up to that breaking point of why am I still doing this? I'm getting frustrated. And like it was very much like a death. And as you know, at that point, I was preparing myself for the death of my business as it sat as a brick and mortar. But then I got slammed with 2 family deaths, and my cat died too.
The universe kind of said, "Here you go."
Yeah, it gave me
But
a
not
lot.
in a good way.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's funny because we're going to talk about some of the cards that kind of talk about it, because it's, burnout isn't really a thing that's happened until modern age.
Well, we weren't taking on more than we can handle until modern age.
Well, yeah, and I will sometimes joke with people and say the 80s called, they want their work schedule back, right?
Yes, please.
Because in the 80s it was like, it was a badge to say I've worked 80 hours this week, and I don't see my family because I'm succeeding.
Yeah.
And it very much was like something you wanted to do. And then, and it worked through 80s and 90s back in the last century.
And now it's something you have to do.
And now it's something you have to do, and it's also something I think we became very aware of, especially when COVID hit, and we were all locked inside, and we're like, a lot of people are now looking for those remote jobs. A lot of people are now realizing, I want quality of life.
Rather than quantity of money.
Yeah, like I'll give up a little bit if it means I can spend more time with my family at home doing things that I want to do. So one of the big cards that I talked about to you before we got on the air was the 10 of Wands. So that's interesting because this did come up a lot in my readings that I did about business, and I was like, well, does that mean there's a reward coming? Because 10s often bring a gift, right?
Apparently this one wasn't a good gift.
Well, yeah, well, it was, because it's weird how, when you look back on things, it was sad when I lost my 2 family members, but it brought my family together, and I got to see extended family and just bask in the love.
That's the catch-22 of funerals, right? Like, we don't often get together for happy things.
Right.
And then we get together when it's mournful, but at the same time, as you said, silver linings, you get to see family you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, right. And it's so I love connecting with my family. I know not everyone loves their family, and I know that sometimes there's members where you're like, I'll just avoid them.
Well, I mean, I think relationships and families are complicated, so it can kind of look different ways depending on the type of person you are and the type of family you have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, my father was one of 11, so this is on the 11 side of the family, the Irish side, and I'm the oldest of 7. So we have huge families. So even if there's someone in there that you're not comfortable around or don't like, you can easily avoid in my family because it's like
I can just see. Sorry,
that's okay.
I haven't met like a bunch of your extended family, but I could just see like you're all hanging out at a big hall,
Yeah.
and then you've got these like pockets of people that are chilling out, and then you've got some other pockets of people that are just trying to avoid each other.
That is so true. Yeah, it is.
Well, it's like doing a seating chart at a wedding.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We often fill a church for
Yep.
people.
Yep. You're like, well, this person can't be beside this person, or this will come up.
Right,
But
right. Yeah,
ultimately, we all had a good time.
yeah,
Everyone kept it together.
yeah.
You know?
And for the most part, I love everybody in my family. And when you get to see them, you're creating that bond because we are going through that mourning process
All together.
all together. And
Yeah.
and you know, like when my uncle Jim, for instance, died, he was one that died, one of the family members. He's the oldest of the 11 kids. So it was kind of a rite of passage in some ways. Like my father was the first of the 11 to die, and my uncle Jim is the second of the 11, and he was the oldest of the 11. And, you know, so his brothers and sisters are mourning him in a different way than I'm mourning him, than other nieces and nephews are mourning him. And luckily, my grandfather and grandmother have passed already, but my grandma hadn't passed when my dad died.
Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah, and it was hard. And I remember her and I hugging at the funeral, or at the wake actually. And she was, you know, obviously very upset having to bury one of her children. And she hugged me really tight, and she said, I know we're both crying, but we've got to buck up and show the world brave faces. And I was like, oh, that's such a thing for her to say from her generation, right? Like, just, you know, carry on kind of
Yeah.
thing, right?
That this horrible thing has happened, but we still need to soldier on.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
felt a real connection with her, and it was just an exchange. Like, she just caught my eye, and then we hugged, and it was like we both know we're feeling great pain, right? I as a daughter, her as a mother, you know, and it's just interesting connections that happen, especially in very sort of big emotional times, right? And I do love, like I said, my family, because I find they're very supportive. Not all of us see eye to eye. That's okay. You know, that's the world.
life.
That yeah. You know, not everyone's going to do it your way, and it's okay. And not everyone, like, I mean, I come from a strict Irish Catholic family, so if you're not Catholic, you're wrong. But so this whole thing that I have going on, they're not, you know, too happy about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, one of my aunts came up and went, oh, you're a high priestess. How could you?
At the funeral?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But it's okay.
It's like, if that's the conversation you want to have, like, maybe that's a better time to.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, right? And I know my family's kind of like, Rhonda's going down a horrible path. And I do get the odd, like, Christmas present from a couple of my aunts of, you know, books on Jesus and why he's amazing.
I mean, as a prophet, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good message.
Yep. Wish more people would listen to the overlying message.
Yeah, right, right. And it's not that I don't believe in Jesus. It's just there's other elements I'm bringing into it.
And there's so much more out there.
There is, but I mean, there's a lot of religion in tarot cards.
100% there is.
You know, and you and I have discussed the fact that tarot wasn't banned by the church because of divination. It was banned because it had the female pope, and they didn't like that.
Oh, it threatens their superiority.
Yeah, and their toxic masculinity, and
Very
and the
toxic
church,
masculinity.
especially in the beginning, surprisingly, like once the disciples were done, because you know the new generation of the church is coming in, but it was very corrupt. You know, because
It still hasn't changed.
yeah, and it still doesn't change that much. I mean, it's weird because it's the richest institute in the world.
Oh, 100%.
And you know, like it blended a lot of Europe, not European, but Roman ideologies, which were very masculine. Which there's nothing wrong with masculinity in of itself, but when it's corrupted, then that's not so great.
There's like a power imbalance too, right? Like,
yeah.
most people are very much, let's balance things out. Let's have both sides. And then that was not as balanced as it should be.
Right, right. Because I've been reading a little bit more in some of my books about the history of God and Goddess, and
Mm-hmm.
and you know, the Romans come into it because they were a huge world power
Mm-hmm.
for a very long time, and you know, I can see elements of the church, the Roman Catholic Church, that carried over from the days when they had Zeus as their god, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, Hera and Venus and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting how that sort of trickled in.
Well, it's also really interesting too, because like I don't know it from a historical aspect, so like
Mm-hmm.
you know that side better than I do. But I think I was at church with one of my clients because I don't regularly attend.
Mm-hmm.
But because I again Roman Catholic's not my cup of tea, but at the same time, there were elements that I'm like, that's calling the directions.
Right.
That's cleansing. That's so there's. It's funny how there's elements of that that have also trickled in
Absolutely.
and maintained and survived.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in the mass, even they have the chalice,
Mm-hmm.
right? And my dad, when my mother died, got a very old school pre-Vatican mass. Now you won't know what that is,
Okay.
but it's sort of an old school kind of mass, done in Latin, and the cross is even. It's not crucifix.
Ah, directions.
Directions, exactly. And there's a lot of that kind of element. There's bread and wine, which is very much in the Wiccan circles or witchcraft circles as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, people don't realize how much paganism
Is in religion.
in religion
Mm-hmm.
that we've just carried forward. And the Catholic Church is the best at it. It's like, oh, you people believe in this? Okay, we'll introduce this as an element or a saint or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And they build their church on top of your old temple, and away they go,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of interesting to see that, because as you know, I was very much into the medieval history in England,
Mm-hmm.
but then you kind of start to branch out, like, oh, what was France doing at that time? What was Rome doing at that time?
Well, they're all like closely connected.
Oh,
right?
very connected.
So if
yes.
you travel from one to the other, elements are going to trickle over or trickle in or things like that. So it's really interesting to see like what stood the test of time, what's changed, because as society changes, your belief systems change, and things like they don't
Evolve and whatnot.
and
Yeah,
have new
yeah.
iterations, even though it's based on this old ancient text from however many years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just kind of interesting to watch us as humans,
Mm-hmm.
and how we kind of, like, you know, I was teaching class one time about angels, and I had a client who was surprised that when I said angels have been around since the time of Sanskrit, and they cut across all cultures. And as you know, I love to study fairy tales and the evolution of those stories, and how every society has a Cinderella tale, for instance, or has a Snow White tale, or whatever it might be, right? And Little Red Riding Hood is a big one because she's in every culture. But it's funny how these cultures, even if they don't meet each other, they're
Still have
similar kind of experiences and
Well, it's
lessons.
the same with like because at one point because like I did a stint with Christianity, and so I had a lot of questions because it wasn't something I grew up with accepting and believing, and so I was like, hey, what about this?
Right.
So it was really interesting to hear like the Christian perspective, but also it's like they redressed the same myth
Right, yeah.
depending on where you were in the world.
Yeah.
Because it's essentially the same story dressed differently.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Because, like, even the Virgin Mary having Jesus, that's a very old story, way before the Bible, you know, because the Sumerians had a similar, you know, virginal woman who gave birth to her son. And as you know, the cycle of the Wiccan calendar, for instance, you know, I always jokingly say, gets a little weird and incestuous almost, because she gives birth to her son, and then she is impregnated by her son to
yep.
have a son. It's like, okay, what are we
But I
doing
mean,
here?
the beginning of the Bible was very incestuous too.
Yeah.
If you literally literally read it line in line, you can't help but get that viewpoint.
Right.
So you
Because
gotta
there was
take it-
Cain and Abel,
Yeah.
and Adam and Eve, and oh my gosh, I remember asking my dad, so where were the women? Like, you know, like, looks like Eve's the only woman so far.
Yeah.
What's going on? How did we populate? I mean, clearly, you know, that's
You figured it out, and
Yeah.
you know. And then I love, because I think I asked something similar to that at one point, and they were like, "Well, they just figured it out." And I was like, "Then you're not answering the question.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
You don't know the answer,
you
do
don't
you?
know the answer." And they're like, "Don't take it so literally." And I'm like, "But you're asking me to take 16 books down the line literally? Like
Yeah.
that's you can't take half of the bathtub and not the whole thing."
You're right, right.
That's what I found. That's what eventually like made me walk away from it a little bit. I'm like, you can't have this being literal and this not being literal. It's a book of myths.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good story.
It is a very good story.
I mean, like, you know, every culture has a flood myth. And it's not really a myth because they've proven the flood did happen, you know, and if you dig down far enough, you'll get to that flood line. And it's weird. Like, okay, so that's a story that a lot of people told, and it was a real thing. So there's a nugget of truth in a lot of these stories, right? And, you know, they've proven that giants actually walked the earth and things like that, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's cool. And like, I'm just like, when I get to heaven, according to my dad, you learned everything. And I'm like, so all the answers will come to me because I have questions.
Right? It's like, why are we limiting ourselves to just, and it goes back to the whole like we don't use 100% of our brain, and like there's a bunch of psychology and like stats and stuff I can't pull off the top of my head.
Right.
But it's so interesting.
But it's interesting. Yeah, it is very interesting. And I'm like, there's so much knowledge that we have acquired that we don't, like you said, to file it through and go, oh yes, here's the answer
Yeah.
to that. I remember, like, people that have eidetic memories. I mean, oh, so please, yes.
I went to school with a girl like that. She would do her tests, so we would do study guides and like dictionary pages, and if you watched her taking the test, if she was trying to figure out what the answer was, say she was looking up a word,
Yeah.
she would look up, and her blinking was her flipping the page.
Right.
And I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
Because my brain just so does not work like that.
I have a bit of that to a certain extent. But yeah, because I remember I got accused of cheating because I wrote a lot
Exactly the same that was given.
that was
Yep.
in the textbook. And it's like, did you have the textbook? Did you have cheat sheets or whatever? And it's like, no, because the blinking of the eyes got me, because I'm like, oh yeah, because I would remember, and I would kind of look up, and like I said, I'd see the paragraph I'm looking for or whatever. And
where I'm like, maybe this is the right one. Let's write her down and find it.
That's why I didn't like multiple questions or
multiple choice?
Yes. Because they
yes.
try to trick you.
The kids don't realize that nowadays. Like, they don't realize that, like, they have it so easy. They just wrote a science test, which I could not help them with because plant and cell organization is so far back for me because I was a social sciences in college.
Right.
That I didn't use any of that.
Right.
And so they're like, help us. I'm like, I can't. Without
You
using
don't want
Google.
me
You don't
helping
want, I will throw you down the wrong path.
Exactly.
And then, but she literally gave them time in class to review. A copy of the review
Oh wow.
was the test.
Oh wow.
So like she was like, here, silver platter answers.
Yeah,
and
right.
people still failed.
Oh my gosh. No, I would totally nail that.
Right? Like, just learn how to, but I mean, again, they're still learning how to study.
Right.
Where we've done a bunch of this stuff, we've done a bunch of courses, our brains know how to do this. So like a lot of my time is spent, oh, I remember how to do that. Wait, I have to backtrack 15 steps, and baby step it to you.
Right.
So that your brain kind of gets used to it.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Because I love that movie Limitless. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I would be 100% take that pill.
Right? But it like, so so I fall asleep on the couch most nights. Just out of sheer exhaustion of being asked 50 million questions a day.
Right. Yes.
And Josh has recently started rewatching Limitless as the TV show.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a TV show. So
I
if
didn't
you
know
if
that.
you like the movie, check out the TV show.
Okay.
But there's a, like every miracle thing, there's a drawback with it, right?
Yes, of course.
So the deterioration,
Like with magic, there's always a price you have to pay. Yeah.
There's always a price you have to pay. So there's deterioration. You can only take it for so long. A, it only lasts 12 hours.
Okay.
And B, if you don't get this like injectable shot, it starts to decay your body.
Oh, geez.
So that's like the side effect of having full access to your brain.
Right.
So it's like, would you still take full access to your brain if it was going to pre-decay you?
Yeah. Yeah, it would. I guess it would depend on how old I am too, right?
Right? Yeah.
If I'm young, then maybe not. If I'm 80, sure, give it to me. I don't care.
Right? Like at this point, I'm already falling apart.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's just, and I know it's TV and I know it's fictional, but it's
Yeah.
so fun to watch.
Yeah, and interesting to imagine the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course they had to imagine the stories that would come up because of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I love the fact as humans the way we can use our imagination and spin
Mm-hmm.
different scenarios and what ifs and whatnot. So
Yeah, and it's
interesting.
also like putting things out in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm working on a manifestation journal, which I need to get back to because I've
Mm-hmm.
kind of been hardcore studying for my interview. Um, so, but like I have started writing down like this is what I want my life to look like, and like how do I make small steps and measurable goals
Mm-hmm.
to try to get myself there? Because what you start today can affect you 5 years down the road.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes you don't realize, the effect it has, right? Like, like I was saying, I had the 10 of Wands come into my readings just before I shut the business down.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other card I was getting a lot was the moon, which is another one that can sort of, relate to burnout and whatnot.
Well, it's duality, right? Like what you see isn't necessarily what you get.
Yeah.
With the moon, I love the imagery, and
That's very nice.
it's
Yeah.
harder to see on this type of card, but I know with the This Might Hurt Tarot,
Yep.
they have a better representation of like the dog, the domesticated dog versus the wolf, and
Right.
and how that looks, and like the crab coming up, and it's like what's underneath. Like yes, you're seeing this beautiful, tranquil, serene landscape, but like what's underneath?
Because the moon is actually considered one of the darker cards. 'Cause it's usually secrets are being kept. There's a veil that you're not quite seeing things with. And there's the cover of night, right? Because that's when the moon comes out, obviously.
Well, and it's also you can only see so far with the moon glow,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, like,
Although sometimes when the moon's full,
oh,
it's
yeah.
like, is there a sun here? Because I feel like it's a sunny
That
day.
was true. The other, or like I don't know how long ago it was, but I remember going like, oh, it must be like almost time to wake up because it was like my body thought it was like 6 o'clock, and I looked at my thing and it was like 1, and I'm like,
Yeah, because sometimes the moon, she can get pretty bright.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, those were the two cards that were coming up a lot in my personal readings before I shut down. And it's funny, the moon made sense to me afterwards because when I was at home, I kind of took a hiatus a little bit, and I was telling a couple of my friends of I didn't realize the weight that was on my shoulders until it wasn't there.
Well, that's yeah.
And it's like we'll continue carrying weight that we don't even realize we're carrying.
No, we'll just keep adding to it too. Like it's
Absolutely.
insane.
Yeah. And we sometimes feel justified in it. Like forgiveness is one of those big things where we'll carry the hatred, the justified anger, and bitterness around it. Like someone did me wrong. Yeah, but you still got to forgive. And forgiving is really a selfish act because it's freedom for yourself, not for the other person. And a lot of times, people mix up condoning for forgiveness. And I always say never say it's okay because it's not.
No.
But you can say I accept your apology or I forgive you. And I know people feel weird thinking that or saying that out
But it's
loud.
about what you put out into the universe is what comes out. Like I'm always, when I say thank you or people say thank you to me, I'm always like, okay, you're welcome sounds like an invitation. Anytime also sounds like an invitation. I have to like come up with something else that's not an invitation to take my energy.
Right.
Because
right.
energy exchange is a thing.
Yeah.
And these kids throw out more angst and energy that they know what to do with. Like they're not aware of what's going on. So
Yeah.
I'm very much like, let's just brush it all off and leave it at work.
Yeah.
But I
Because
also,
I mean, a lot of clients that would come in unknowingly sucked my energy too, right? But I gave it as well, and I
Yeah.
had to recognize
that you were giving more than what you should have, right?
Yeah.
So there's that boundary.
Yeah.
So I find I do things before I go into work.
Okay.
That like
yeah.
kind of like, and
Yeah.
then if a kid gets really escalated and they're they're just rude about things, I'll shut it right down and be like, we can continue this conversation when you're able to treat me with respect.
Right.
I actually had to do like a CYA today. This wasn't like my fight, but I wanted to be there so that if things went sideways, she had another pair of eyes.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So
yeah.
that's often...
Yeah, children can be real energy suckers.
Yes. Yes.
You know from lots of experience there.
But I feel like there's also a good learning curve with it. Like if there was more emphasis on meditation and awareness of emotion, and I mean, I know a lot of that starts at home, but some kids, like, they don't have the awareness at home, and that's not their fault.
And sometimes parents get busy. Like,
Yeah.
what parent has the time to go, hey, Johnny, why don't you sit down and meditate for 3 minutes?
Right?
Like,
Unless you build
you
it
can
from...
barely get him to pick up his socks.
And sometimes you don't always know that that's what they need.
Yeah.
Like, they could be grumpy about, you know, their friend not calling them back, and meanwhile they're like, I'm dysregulated from this thing that happened 3 hours ago.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's hard to kind of sift through all of that.
Yeah.
And as the adult, you have to... We take on a lot of it because we're supposed to know better. But this is where if you don't process it and or give it up when it's not yours, burnout will come that much quicker.
True. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because you're in a position where burnout can happen because children are children and they're very draining and you know, they don't have the same control capacity that adults are supposed to have in theory.
To have being the key word, yes. But they're also like when they have good moments, they're so good. Like there's been a couple of kids that I'm like, oh, we're doing this week. Okay. But then, like, last week, we had a really good laughing session, and it wasn't even, like, planned. It was just, they told a joke, it was actually really funny, and we laughed about it, and that was, like, a good thing.
Yeah.
So we gotta kind of balance that, like, you're there to create those boundaries for both of your sakes, but at the same time, you gotta let them have one or two.
Yeah,
so that
there needs to be a sort of flexible structure. Yep. Yeah. 100%. Absolutely.
They're fantastic. Even the ones that you're like, really? This is how we're starting today?
Yeah.
It is Monday, friends.
The ones you know, right?
Oh my gosh. I actually said that like more than once. I'm like, it is Monday. We're not even at 9:30. Like, chill.
We've already had 3 volcanoes.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those, I'm like, someone asked me, they're like, is it a full moon? I'm like, nope.
Nope. It's dark moon tonight, actually.
Ooh, maybe that's why.
Yeah, it could be that energy. You know, and in the dark moon, you'll see it that I've posted about it, and I'm trying to do up little rituals and stuff that you can either participate on your own in, or if you want me to do a candle for you, I can add it to the altar, that sort of thing. So, you know, and I've got a blue moon. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, I did. I'm kind of excited, and it's like, I just have to double check I'm not working my other job, and I'm like, I'm coming. It's been so long since we've had a moon circle.
Yes, it has, and I think it'll be fun. So hopefully, it's a relaxed kind of moon circle, not a strict one or anything like that. We're doing bingo as well. So
ooh, lovely.
I'm like, bingo, yay, let's do this. And then the other one, of course, that I talked about when I was writing up like burnout, the 10 of Swords above the
10 of Swords,
and hers is more like like mine looks bad, but it's like, oh my gosh, they're right in her.
Yep.
And in her front, no less. So they weren't even going behind her back. They just came up and stabbed her.
Yep. So be aware.
Yeah. So the 10 of Swords always looks kind of like, oh my god. But it is hopeful because 10s always bring gifts.
Yep.
So it's always about what gift am I getting. This one in particular, the 10 of Swords, usually means that, you know, maybe there's been some gossip or untruths going around about you, and that's about to end, which is always nice. Or, you know, if you've had a argument with someone, maybe things are ready now to be patched up and whatnot. I mean, this guy doesn't look tired, or he does look tired, I mean. Like the nice thing about this one is your second wind is coming, right? And sometimes you need that to know that there's the light at the end of the tunnel. And then we've got the 4 of Swords too. Is the swords are always so serious and so like, you need to do this now.
They're the more serious side of the suit.
Absolutely, but they're all about communication. And the 4 of Swords, I mean, I know that has to do with burnout because often you're resting. What's she doing there?
Resting.
Oh, she is resting. Okay. Interesting. She does look like she needs some sleep too.
Yeah.
It's like well-deserved sleep. And you know, but the fours are always what I love about fours is you can't level up in life until a four comes into it. So if you're getting a four of swords, that means you're about to level up. But the fours always ask you to rest before, because things are about to get really busy, very chaotic, which means creative energy is coming your way. Solutions are happening. You actually want to embrace chaos because the whole universe came out of
My entire
chaos.
job. Embracing chaos.
There you go.
Plan the day, they say.
But I always get excited when I see a four, and I've had a lot of clients, you know, send me pictures or say what happened after they, you know, after I said, oh, something's good happening, and they are like, oh, there was my four, you know,
Yep.
Lady Rose told me to look for fours, and here it is. And
That's good though, because then that means like they're thinking about things, and like tarot readings, I love that they're like all your options at that moment in time with the energy that you currently have, and then you're more informed about how to make decisions moving forward.
yeah,
It's not about deciding for you; it's informing you to help you make the most informed decision you can.
exactly. And the fours are good too, because again, they're telling you to slow down, to rest. Things are going to get busy. Don't be busy now. And you know, sleep is so restorative and heals. Like you've heard me say a million times, healing is a nocturnal activity. Whether it's in the mind, whether it's in the body, or whether it's in the soul, a good night's sleep does wonders for whatever it might be that's ailing you, right?
And if you don't get a good night's sleep, it will eventually bleed into the day.
Yes.
And
And there have been countries that have used lack of sleep as a form of torture, because as humans, we go insane when we don't get enough sleep. You think hangry is bad? That's nothing compared to lack of sleep.
That's true.
You know, and you know, like a lot of jobs have talked about, like, is the 12-hour shift good? Because
I don't think it is, because you do like you're on like one rotation one week, and then you're on a second rotation the next week. So your body never adjusts to a sleeping pattern. Like once you're on a sleeping pattern, great, keep me there.
And do you want to get that, say, doctor, for instance, in the 11th hour?
Yeah.
Or would you rather get them in the first hour? And that was a thing when I first had my shop too, was I was very much like, oh, I'll be there whenever a client needs to be there. But, you know, you get the client that wants to come in at 8 in the morning, and then you get a client that wants to come in at 9 at night. And it's like,
You can't do 12 hours.
you know,
That's
and you
insane.
don't want me to read your cards in the 12th hour because...
I'm a little loopy. We need to revisit this.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
I had to, you know, kind of set my boundaries there, right? And say, well, what will be, you know, a way for my clients to find me accessible, but also I'm not burning myself out as well. And fours are also the number of structure, right? Like the foundation. Twos are about making the decision. Threes are the actual movement forward, and four provides that stability of now you're ready to level up because you've got the foundation. Because I'm often saying, when I'm teaching tarot cards, for instance, a lot of people will ask me, well, can't I just read them intuitively? The answer is yes and no, because you want the foundation of learning the meanings behind the cards, so that that can be your go-to place if you get stuck or if nothing's coming. And in intuition and psychic or empathetic kind of gifts are meant to be layered on top of the foundation, not to be used exclusively only. I've had readers from both, you know, who have done the traditional learning the meanings and then put the gifts on top, and I've found that the people that are just doing it intuitively are often really off.
Interesting. And I mean, there's something to be said about intuitive reading, because like it's a thing, and
It is.
it is, but like it's a layer.
It is
So
a layer.
like you have to like foundation first, then layer things. So like I layer like foundation, and then I've got like hits more of like trees and stuff intuitively. So
Yeah.
that's where my intuitive kicks in, but it's not what I depend on.
Yeah, because if you can draw from many resources. Like,
Mm-hmm.
from taking my tarot course, I'm like, you're about to go down the biggest rabbit hole you'll ever go down.
Still down there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's branches off the rabbit hole, and because like you can learn symbolism, you can learn phases of the moon, you can learn zodiac, you can learn color, you can learn energy and numerology,
Mm-hmm.
and all that, and you can place all of that on top of tarot.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you can draw in, and like, you with your trees, and even you have a lot of decks that have animals,
Mm-hmm.
so spirit animals and what they kind of mean, and whatnot. And it's always interesting to notice or even ask what the client sees 1st
Mm-hmm.
on a card, because if you notice a reaction, you'll be like, what did you notice first? And a lot of times they notice things that you don't think they're going to notice.
No, that's right.
It's
That's very
like,
true.
oh, I noticed this little bunny in the corner. That I'm saying that because that actually happened with a card of mine, and I'm like, what bunny? Oh my God, there is a bunny there.
Because, well, we've almost, like, you see these cards so much that you're like, oh, yeah, it's this. And then you're like, wait a minute. In that tree, there's a little caterpillar.
Yeah.
Or, like, one deck I have that has more fairies in it. At one point, they go into little, like, sprouts and gremlins and less fairy-y.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, why are we deviating from the, like, main viewpoint of the deck?
Right.
So then I have
right.
to sit and think about that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how that happens, and even funnier that a client can point something out, even if you feel like, oh, I know these cards.
Yeah. And then you're like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love always looking at your decks, because you always have such interesting and different decks.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, how does that look different from?
Well, that's it, and that's what I find interesting too, is looking at different interpretations.
Mm-hmm.
So this deck is really cool. I love the Darkwoods Tarot. I think I've slowly started to like pull back on the like, ooh, it's shiny and new. Give me another one.
Right. Yeah.
Because I've realized like I have a niche that I like.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like, oh, I really want to see what the art is like on this one, but I'm like, am I going to use it?
Right.
Like I have an animal deck and I love it because of
Yeah.
the art, but like I don't use it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't read the same way as what I like. It's still Rider-Waite Smith based, but
Yeah.
like it's not reading for me the way I want it to. So is that the deck I'm really gonna take with me to a show? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny because, yeah, when I was a younger tarot reader, yeah, you're right. The new shiny, let's
Yep.
see what the vibe is for this one. Isn't this exciting? And I'm like, I stick to either the working deck of mine, which is the
Yep.
gilded deck, or I go to the straight actual Rider-Waite Smith deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised because I'm a master tarot reader now, and a lot of masters go back to the RWS.
Yep.
Because it's like that's where the
Everything
foundation-
comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
And really, you're able to read that clean and quickly,
Mm-hmm.
probably over something like one of these decks when you have like it's still RWS based, but there
Mm-hmm.
might be different color associations and things like that. So like,
Mm-hmm.
does that muddle the reading or does that help the reading?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, all of these seem to be women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a very women-centered deck.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool, because there was a deck that I used, oh, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was very feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And even the king cards were turned into feminine.
Yeah.
And it was very like green and pink, and I was like, at first I was like, I don't know, but I'm like, damn, this is a good deck, right?
Mhm.
Like it would definitely be one that I would go to on occasion,
Mhm.
even now, because I'm like, yeah, I really like the way this deck reads. And I was surprised because that was the summer my gilded deck said it needed a vacation.
Yeah, so you pulled out a different one.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I find it's really interesting. So, like, again, tarot itself has a lot of humans in it.
Yeah.
And then there's been decks that are, like, purely animals. Like,
There's a
my,
cat tarot
yes,
deck.
there's a cat tarot
There's
deck.
actually quite a few, I think.
I have to pull the one out. So, like, I'm not a cat person, but the art on this deck is amazing. And I just need to find it again because it's in my... I recently moved all my decks.
Oh, okay.
Because our house had a little furry friend that was not a welcome guest.
Right.
So I'm like, all my decks need to move up. So now I don't know where anything is.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, cat deck, interesting. Love the art, but just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And then there was one deck recently. It was at the Witches Market. I was like, oh, I remember wanting this deck like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I reached out for it, and I'm like, it's not grabbing me the same way it did.
Oh, okay.
So as much as I would love to see the deck, because I don't know if it's out of print or it's not readily available as much anymore.
Okay.
And I'm like, as much as I'm like, yes, I want to own this, I'm like,
Mhm.
am I going to read with it?
Right.
That's like, we could do an entire episode on like, here's how to pick your way through the mass amounts of decks.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, and the weird thing too is that oracle cards are like even more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah, I used to eat. I used to buy oracle decks like potato chips.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I'm getting more selective. I'm like, oh, I like that. Why do I like that?
Yeah.
Is it substance? Is it does it have something I'm going to use? Like,
Yeah.
as much as I want all the decks.
Yeah.
But I'm also in a bunch of groups that people are like, how many decks do you have? And I'm like, people are like, I have hundreds. And I'm like, how?
Right.
Do you even use your decks?
Yeah.
At that point?
Exactly.
I'm not bashing the people who have great collections. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that.
If that's what you collect, great.
Yeah.
You know, I have no problem.
But I
with
just
that.
know that I would rather use my decks than have them sitting on a shelf.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So.
Because there's a few decks that I would always keep in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm finding, and this is a very crone thing, when you hit that crone stage, you start going, yeah, I can let this go. Yeah, I can let that go. I have so much stuff from crones, and I'm like, now I'm hitting that stage. And it's
So you're like, starting to be selective.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it brings discernment into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having more doesn't mean being more. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. It's a tool.
It is a
right?
tool.
So,
and if you find the right tool, just work with that tool.
Right? Like, I had the one deck forever. And then I think during COVID is when I was like, I'm bored. Let's go see what decks are on.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they can be shiny and fun, and you want to know, like, oh, do they hold secrets that I might not know?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, there's a couple of decks. Like, I have a Hecate deck and a, like, Kabbalah leaning oracle deck that I haven't spent enough time with. Like, every time I look at it, I'm like, you're still a mystery.
Yeah, and as you get sort of deeper into your practice, I find you get more complicated decks that require study.
Yep.
You can't just sit down and let's
face read them and
yeah.
Or like, for example, because my husband's like, how many versions of this deck do you have? Because ultimately, if it's RWS, it's always a version of the RWS.
Right.
But I know, like, for example, runes are usually stones.
Mm-hmm.
I have a rune deck that I like as cards.
Okay.
And I have stones.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have another deck. But it's like, if I see another rune deck, I'm like, do I really need it?
Right. Right.
Because it's like, I already have 3.
Right. Yeah.
And you can only read the runes the same way.
Right.
Regardless of what form they're in.
Okay. Yeah, because they're kind of like an alphabet in a way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the other one was the devil card.
Ooh, the devil.
The devil. So he often appears when you're sort of repeating and self-sabotaging and leading to burnout. I mean, he literally is burning. So
I'm surprised this hasn't thrown up for me more. Because when you said self-sabotage, I'm like, you still live in that cycle? Not so much anymore.
Well, maybe, like I said, it comes up because it's a major arcana card.
Yep.
It often comes up when you haven't been listening, you know, and perhaps you do self-sabotage, but you're aware of it now. And so little by little, you're starting to kind of not do that so much.
Mm-hmm.
You might still be doing it, but maybe you're doing it at step 10 as opposed to on the first step towards that journey or whatever.
Well, it's like that. It's like, you're making me remember there was like a point in time where a little depressive spiral. Mm-hmm. But now that I recognize that depressive spiral, I don't hit step 10. Right. I can catch it at step 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you stop, that's, like, you're like, oh, this is where I'm heading, let's not go all the way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good when you bring awareness to it, and you don't have to be perfect, because a lot of people will sit down and go, oh, I can't do that, oh, I can't do this.
Have you tried?
Well, yeah, and have you even, recognized it to the point where, okay, I didn't succeed to full success, but I at least did half of it or a third of it, and congratulate yourself on what you did do, because the next time it happens, and it's a very spiral kind of journey that we take in life, that maybe you won't do it as badly, or maybe you'll do it better, whatever it might be, right? And you'll stop fucking up your own life.
Yeah.
Because we're usually our own worst enemy.
That's true, but I mean, I think in the more time you realize you're in a situation and it's not good for you, or if you're in a situation and you like it, and you're like, oh, I want more of this.
Right.
You realize ways of like either keeping yourself there or like knowing how to move, or even if you're scared to move.
Yeah, that's
right?
a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People stay in burnout because that's what's familiar.
Exactly. It's like the abused woman syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Like
or a trauma response.
a trauma response.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Henry Ford had it right. If you say you can, and if you say you can't, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm sure I didn't quite get that quote properly, but yeah, I mean, you're right. Whichever way. Like, I often jokingly say how people would rather be right than protect themselves. So I use the analogy of, if I tell you every time I go down the stairs, I fall and break my ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Every time. Normal human response, surprisingly, is you would rather fall down and say, see, I broke my ankle because I'm right,
Yeah.
than get down the stairs safely.
Well, it's also, you notice the things. So, like, again, it's like, let's take this out of, like, a human aspect, but, like, cars, for example.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like, oh, I hate red cars, you're going to see red cars everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what you notice and that's what you're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't want it, that's what you're choosing to focus on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it also could be that you want to buy a red car, because Kingston actually is the red car capital of Canada.
Really? Because the other
We
day I
love
literally
our red
walked,
cars.
I walked out of one of my jobs and I'm like, I can point. Like, I haven't even moved. I literally walked 5 steps out of the house and there was 4 white cars.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
well, white and
What?
black, all cars come in white and black, and there's no extra
Yeah.
fee for it. But any color, there is extra fee. But apparently Kingstonians love red cars.
interesting.
Yeah.
Is it a myth, or is it still a thing that red cars have a higher insurance?
Oh, I don't know.
Because it's like red.
If you do insurance out
Psychologically-
there.
Yeah, please comment if you do insurance. Let us know.
If that's an urban legend or...
I know psychologically red is a fast color.
Yeah.
And kind of
A lot of sports cars
Yeah, a
are
lot of sports
red.
cars are red. So it kind of amps people up. So then if your car is red, it carries a higher insurance premium.
They also say don't paint your bedroom red unless you want to have a lot of arguments. And red,
Really?
red also makes you hungry. That's why McDonald's uses it.
Okay, that would make sense. There's a lot of psychology in food.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah.
The red and the orange, they do it on purpose
Mm-hmm.
because those are the colors that, 1, make you hungry, and 2, will make you eat faster.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like...
And you're like, oh, I'm not full. Let's go for seconds.
Yeah.
And then they get more money out of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a small fry. It'll be fine.
That's, that just leads into, oh, do you want to upsize that?
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, sure, why not? And then you're like, why am I?
I always, like, my first job was at McDonald's.
Yeah.
My first paying job. And, yeah, they were always, like, they had secret shoppers that would come in, and I always got nailed for I never asked, would you like fries with that? You know?
And now that's a running joke. And don't get me wrong, I'm not disparaging the job. It is an amazing job for people who are learning or for people who like that kind of work.
Hey, it's an honest way of living.
It is. But there's a lot of people that will be like, if you don't get an education, that's where you're going to end up. I'm not saying that's the right frame of mind to have.
You'd be
It's not.
amazed at how many people in Best Buy have masters.
Right? Oh my goodness. There are
So
some smart cookies
there's
out there.
there's some myths out there that because you have the
Yes.
education, you automatically get the job.
It's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true. There's a lot of overqualified people that do jobs because they either love it or circumstances have changed or whatever. To each their own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with flipping burgers.
Nope, not
But
at
if
all.
you get the chance to watch SpongeBob's training video for Krabby Patties, that is a training video we had to watch in McDonald's, and it's almost verbatim. It's awesome.
Okay, so that makes me think of. So speaking of Best Buy, and I mean, if like I worked there years ago, so this should be fun. But a lot of their training videos, I'm sitting there going, do you have copyrights for all of this? Because like one of their health and safety videos was like a zombie apocalypse.
Oh,
and
God.
like one of them was like a Star Wars ripoff. And I'm like, what is going on right now? I was killing myself laughing. Josh was like, yeah, no, I'm out. I can't do this.
I'm like, what? zombie apocalypse, health and safety in case the zombies come here.
In
this
case
is
the
what-
zombies come here, make sure you do your 3 points on the ladder while you're using it.
Oh my
Or the
God.
zombies will come after you. I don't know. It was years ago. I'm not saying that's any way accurate, but I just remember that like each training video had a theme.
Right.
And I
right.
mean, hey, if that's what keeps people engaged and people remember, because like I still remember it after almost 10
Yeah.
years. Like,
No, ours were truly like, the old health videos you had to watch
Yeah.
in school of, okay, boys and girls. you know?
I got the tail end of the 80s videos because there were people that had been teaching since the 80s
Oh, okay.
that had not updated their videos since
Right,
the 80s.
right.
So there were a couple of them I'm like, oh, this is an early 90s.
Yeah.
And this was like a 2000s
Right,
classroom.
right. Yeah,
So
and they
it's
went
like-
right back to the history of McDonald's
Yeah.
when he first opened, and the burgers were 25 cents. And
Can you imagine?
exactly.
I can
And you
find
don't get a
pocket
chance
change.
to say, would you like fries with that anymore?
No.
Because most people order a meal because
Yeah.
they made it easier that way and a little cheaper. But, it's like, yeah, do they still require that?
Well, I think it depends. So, like, when I worked for Tim Hortons, it would depend on what they ordered. So, if they ordered a soup, you're like, oh, did you want a sandwich with that? Or if they ordered I don't know, like a sandwich, they'd be like, oh, do you want to add a donut for 50 whatever cents? So I think it depends. Like, if you worked there long enough, there was like a flow chart of like,
What
if they
you would
order this,
suggest.
upsell this. If they order
Right.
this, upsell that.
Right.
Or depending on the day, like if it was crappy outside, hey, do you want to add an extra tea on there? You warm enough out there?
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's ways of,
Yeah.
but it's all psychology.
Yeah, it is, It's like, whatever. But I do have a couple of things coming up. So I don't know if you've noticed, because you're on my Facebook a lot, but in my hiatus, I was still, reading and learning and blah, blah. So I've added numerology
Ooh.
and I've added some astrology
Fun.
services, which I'm really excited about. I've been doing astrology kind of sort of off the books, I call it.
It's not that main feature, but it's kind
Yeah.
of that hidden feature.
Exactly. But I've always had this thing with astrology. I love it. That's why I add the moonology cards to my tarot readings. I just did a party last week and I had them flip over their moonology. And of course, I get them all to read because I can't be face to face with everyone. But they were reading the underline
Ooh.
phrase about it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to that part. I pay attention to where the moon is, what it's doing, and
Yeah.
what sign it's in, because that tells me more. Because sometimes the message doesn't always fit.
Jive. No, I've noticed that with some cards. I'm like, that's not what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes it fits perfectly.
Yep.
And at the party, I was kind of asking, like, do you feel that resonates with you? And they said yay or nay or whatever. But really, I'm still just about the moon and the phase of it and the sign it's in.
That's fair.
And, and people always have fun at the parties because if I know your sun sign, I can kind of nail some traits maybe that you have and whatnot. I can't do the moon and the rising until I know your birth information, and
Yeah.
then I kind of have to look it up a little bit because, an Aries and rising is a different than an Aries in your sun sign.
Yeah.
So it's like, it has a different
That's
impact.
interesting.
It does. And astrology is such a big subject. So huge.
You
But-
could spend years and still learn more.
Yeah. And I'm happy that I'm able to offer these services, but I do it in a very, or what I would like to say is a very humble way, because I am not an expert. Like a master tarot reader, absolutely I am. I know tarot cold. Is there still more to learn in tarot? Absolutely, because now I'm trying to layer astrology on top of it. But astrology, I can see, like I often say with tarot, you need to agree to be a student for life. But that's astrology for sure.
I was gonna say, I would say the same for astrology. What little I've dove into,
Yeah. And dived into, yeah.
and now I'm like, past,
What?
future, present. What?
What are we saying here?
It's
A little of all three?
there's there's a ton of layers to it, and it's really interesting. Like that's kind of one of my like summer That and sign language.
Oh yeah, sign language. My uncle's deaf, so I know a few
finally,
words.
I think, almost have the alphabet down. Because
Yay!
I can stand there, not sit. I don't sit at any of my jobs. But I can stand there and do it relatively discreetly, so I can practice like A, B, C, whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then I only get tripped up on like R, Q, and something else.
Okay.
Like I'm like
R.
R.
I know because I'm Rhonda, right?
Yeah, R. Okay. Because then I'm like, if this is R, what is Q? But it's really, really. I thought so. Like, okay, now later we're gonna go on a tangent about sign language, which is awesome, by the way. Like, sign language was great. It has saved my behind in so many of my jobs.
Yeah.
I just would like to be somewhat.
And I
fluent.
had a client that dealt a lot with deaf clients,
Mhm.
and she wasn't deaf, but she knew sign language. So every time she came in, I'd make her teach me a new word. Because I'm like, I want to know something else. Because I know a few. I mean, I know happy
Yep.
and beautiful and thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wolf Island. I know that because that's where my family's from.
I like that. Wolf Island.
Wolf and then just island.
Island. The I and land.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
It makes sense when you realize what the word is. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, this is cool. My Aunt Emily, who was married to my Uncle Mike, who is deaf, she was deaf, so she would teach me words as well. Uncle Mike taught me how to say hi. He never pushes anybody to.
But I mean, I feel like because I work with kiddos who have varying communication styles, I wanted to add it as a tool.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I just haven't been able to give it the concentration it
Right.
requires, because
Right.
it's definitely a language with nuances and its own grammar structure. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, okay, I'm going to dive into this for 6 months and be able to learn it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be one of those like, we're going to slowly learn this over the next 10 years.
Well, as a kid, we would do mixed drinks for my mom and dad in the evening, and
Yeah.
you know, everyone in my family drinks a lot, but so it was always 2 fingers of rye,
Yeah.
right? So when Uncle Mike came, he learned rye. This is actually whiskey,
Yeah.
and then Diet Coke. That was their mix. So that's for pop. So
Yeah.
I learned that at a very tender age.
And it makes things so much easier. Like I wish it was a required teaching, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it really opens up communication possibilities with kiddos who may not be deaf but may have alternative communication needs.
Right.
If I don't know. It's if we're teaching them French, why can't we teach them sign language?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Like-
And I mean, there's a career in it too,
Yeah.
right? You could be a translator,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So yeah. So I have an upcoming event on May the 21st. It's called The Alchemist's Journey. So it's a talk that I'm doing about breaking through fear patterns. And I'm
Okay.
actually going to take you through a couple of exercises so you can go out in the real world and apply these, because I'm very concrete in a lot of my things. I will give you things to do that will help your life right now. Not, hey, you feel good in the moment. Oh, we're all goddesses. Yay, yay, yay. And then you leave and you're like, that was awesome. Now what do I do?
Yep. So it's a Thursday, right?
Yeah, that's a Thursday. I'm looking for an assistant. So whoever wants to be, if Kayla can make it, that would be great, because I need someone on the door and
Yep.
that sort of thing. So whoever is my assistant, if you're available that night, I'll take you.
Okay.
Because you get a free ticket.
I'm most likely available.
All
Now
right.
that my other job isn't as demanding.
Okay.
She
Cool,
slows
cool.
down in the summer.
And then I've got the Blue Moon, as I mentioned earlier, Tarot Bingo Night, which is Friday, May the 29th. And I'm looking for potluck dessert table.
Ooh.
So, like bring whatever you're good at making or buying. It doesn't matter.
Just as a heads up, I often work in schools with like allergy and awarenesses. If you're making stuff, please bring a
Ingredient list. Yeah, just in case. But if you have a problem like with gluten or whatever, feel free to bring a gluten-free dessert or a peanut-free dessert or whatever it might be. And if you do have an allergy, we'll make sure your food is kept separate because I understand what that's like. I have a shellfish allergy. So I get it, and I'm anaphylactic to shellfish. So it's like you have to be
Do
really
you
careful.
carry your EpiPen on you?
I do most of the time.
Good.
Yes, yes. I usually have one in my purse. I have an extra one around.
Good. Because, like, the other day, one of the kids was like, yeah, I don't have my rescue meds. I grabbed my AirPods instead. And I was like,
Oh. I'm also
wanna be able
allergic
to
to
save
bee
you.
stings. Not honey, though. I love honey. I'm a bear. I love
Yep.
honey. But bee stings, yes. The way my mom found out, she found me unconscious at the bottom of a pear tree. I was 3.
Well, that's a
she
scary
couldn't-
thing.
Yeah, she couldn't wake me up. She lost her mind, apparently.
I would have too. I don't know why my kid's unconscious and they're not responding.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
It was, I guess I was really lucky.
Yup.
I mean, since I was 3, basically, I should not be here. Like, it's all been borrowed
The
time.
world has tried to make sure Rhonda doesn't survive.
Yeah. But I'm a weed. I keep popping back up.
Just means you got more to tell us about.
There you go. There you go. So check on my Facebook group page, Goddess Garage, for those events. They're listed there. What else was I going to talk about? I guess the new services that I kind of touched on. Oh, we have to pick a card.
Ooh, yes, pick a card.
So we gotta get that. No one's been here so far, but that's okay. We'll do a quick little, tulips. Roses was one, of course, some Lady Rose, and daffodils.
Ooh, tulip, roses, and daffodils.
I know you made a pick. What was your pick?
Oh God, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I commented the journaling idea is a good thing.
Oh,
so you
thank
were
you.
so in the Goddess Garage group she's posting some journal prompts. And I found one today, and I was like, "Ooh, I need to go back and start the beginning of May," because sometimes I don't see things right away.
Right. Yeah, because I think May I do it every Monday. I post a journal post, and then in June I think I give it to you all at once.
Okay.
Like here's the monthly journal prompt.
That's a good idea because I feel like there's Instagram accounts that are like that. They're like, we're gonna do journaling this way this month, and then it'll change next month, and then if you want to partake, you can, and you can take and leave whatever day, and it works out.
Okay. Yeah. People. Yeah, I can get why journal prompting helps, because sometimes you say, "Oh, I want to journal more," but then you sit down, you're like, "What do I
talk about?"
Yeah.
Like honestly, and it's one of those whatever works for you. I don't like going and just complaining about my day.
Right.
So
Yeah.
sometimes those journal prompts can like make me go beyond the crappy day I've had and be like, what other things can I learn? And that's where I like to journal, because then I realize things about myself, or I have revelations. I'm horrible for writing them down though. So I'm like, oh, this was a thing. I let go of a crap ton of anger that I was carrying for 10 years.
Right.
And then I just never write it down. So then, 10 more years go by and I'm like, where has all the growth gone?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a good way to get in that habit.
Yeah, and the prompts can sometimes be triggers for you in a good way to go, oh yeah, I didn't write this about this. And it's always fun to watch the journey that you make, because I've always been a big did you ever have a diary with a log?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you ever okay, so cleaning out boxes that when my parents moved, I found a couple of those.
Oh, okay.
And there were days where I was like, what was I on?
I know.
And then there were other days where I'm like, yeah, angsty, that makes sense.
And it's funny how, you'll write something down about your day or whatever, and you'll be like, I remember that, but I'm not remembering it the way I've written it here.
No, and that's it, because your perception changes, right?
Yes.
So it's like what you view as the most important thing. Like, say you're like, I stepped in a puddle and my shoe was wet for the whole day.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be your focus in the moment. But outside of the moment, you're like, that wasn't that bad of a day.
Right,
Like,
right.
you know, say something worse happened or whatever. Like, I don't want to put anything out in the universe, but
No.
in
But
the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but even the good stuff, you're like, wow, that was maybe better than you remember it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was like, wow, I'm so glad I have this memory still. Because you're like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that, but yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah.
Once you get the jogging of your
Well, it's
own
also-
memory going.
I noticed, because I was doing a lot of creative writing in high school, like I would sit in science class. This is
Well,
why
there's nothing like the angst of a teenager to
Right?
bring out the poetry
The
in you.
poetry and the writing and like and
The
this is
heartbreak. And
this is why I'm not great in science because I spent most of grade 10 science writing creative writing. And luckily I don't have a degree or a job that depends on science knowledge per se. But I just remember I can flip back into some of those pages because I used to write on paper because I'm like, what if I lose the digital file?
Right.
Which ended up happening.
Right. Yes.
So I could go back and be like, oh, but it was like a creative writing story. But then I can remember what my mindset was like.
Yeah,
and
where you were
kinda
drawing from.
Pinpoint where I was in that like 4-year span of high school.
Right.
So
right.
it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Like I really want to. I have a journal that I was gonna plan on doing. There was a course I was gonna do in the fall, like previous, and it didn't end up happening. So I have a journal that I'm gonna crack open and start the prompts.
Nice, very nice. So we'll do the tulips first.
Okay.
So the first card for the tulips is the moon card.
Ooh.
Oh no, actually it's the star. Sorry,
Star card.
Star card.
Either way, still ooh.
Still ooh. It's a great card because usually it means whatever night you've gone through, the light of the star is here to guide you out of whatever turmoil, situation, worry, fret, fear that you've been kind of trudging through. It's about to end. And your tulip card.
My tulip card. The Queen of Pentacles.
Oh, so it might be job related.
It might be job related.
She's the Queen of Money.
Queen of Money. Job security, maybe.
Yeah, job
I
security.
might be reading into that personally.
Security,
Yeah.
promotion. Yeah, that's quite fitting for you.
Ooh.
Because I know you commented on the pick a card. I want to go back and look up and see what you picked
I
now.
see if I can look. While you talk, I'll look.
Okay. So that's for the tulips. You've got the star card, and whatever thing you've been worrying about, you've got the light coming to you, and then you've got the Queen of Pentacles. And as you can see, she's almost like the Empress. She's holding a gold coin near her womb, where we bring in abundance and life and stuff as women.
Is yours on your profile?
It's on both.
It's on both.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sitting on your profile.
Oh, and then one of these burnout cards that we were talking about is for the roses. So the people that picked roses, it's the 10 of Wands. The nice thing about this card is you are about to put the load down, the fret, the worry, the fear that you've been maybe carrying, or maybe there's some forgiveness that needs to happen in some way, some acceptance as well. Sometimes people don't, they don't want to say, I forgive myself for this or whatever. They don't quite get the concept. So sometimes it's just an acceptance of who you are now, and it's okay. So for instance, when I was first diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I noticed I couldn't do things as quickly. I was not quite as coordinated as I once was, and that was very frustrating for me. But I've since in my journey learned to kind of be okay with that and accept myself the way I am now, and that it actually makes me more mindful because now I have to do things very
methodically.
Thank you. I knew it was an M word, and I'm like, what is the M word I'm looking for?
Well, it's one of those things like hindsight's different, right? So so I'm experiencing that currently because there were ways I would do things before I had a concussion versus now I'm like, oh, let's think about that differently because we're not going to want a repeat of anything, right? So it's like you're a little bit more mindful, you're a little slower to react, you're a little like, let's plan out accordingly what we're going to do so that we leave less to chance.
Yes. We leave not injured.
Yep.
So what's layering over that 10 of Wands?
What's layering over that 10 of Wands? Let's see. Ooh, 3 of Pentacles. We're aiming some money about building.
Yeah.
I feel like we're building.
Yeah, because she's working on her lattice there. And 3 of Pentacles is often, someone working on something, honing their skill. Just like, this was sort of catered to you, it seems, because it's like, you were studying hard for the interview and, you've gone through the first hoop. I'm always like, can't you just say you want me and let's forget all the
Yeah.
hoops?
Yeah, like can we just get it over and done with?
Yeah,
I understand there's a
exactly.
process, and that's why I'm trying not
And
to like rush anything. And
you know, like Mark has been on many interviews as well, and some of the things they want for interviews.
Yeah.
And my brothers and sisters work in the pen system,
Oof,
so
good
they're
for them.
government. So anytime they kind of get to a different department
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, the hoops even on the inside that they have to jump through is ridiculous in some
Well,
ways.
and
It's
it's
like,
in-
you've proven me as a good employee.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what can't you just say, yeah, you're in?
I used to work for a job that was casual, and we're considered outside external candidates, even though we've been doing the job.
Okay, yep. And
So-
some jobs are for internal or
Yeah.
external, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so-
another thing that's kind of weird. I mean, I get like promoting from within.
Oh, 100%. But it's like if you find someone that is a better fit, you should not be promoting from within.
Right.
Or like whatever. I'm not a hiring manager.
Yeah.
The closest thing I got to that was approving volunteers for a nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
So we had to do all the background checks, all the reference checks, made sure what this person said matched what they did in life, and there wasn't like any huge glaring holes.
Okay.
We were putting them with like a
Vulnerable.
a child, so like mentor mentee situation.
Right.
So we had to do our due diligence.
Yeah,
So-
of course, yeah. No, that totally makes sense. I've done a lot of professional fundraising, which I call professional begging.
Yep, it's one way to
And
look at it.
I've always like thought, you know, organizing the volunteers, I appreciate anyone that does that because it's like being at a rodeo for cats.
All your cats are in separate situations, and you're like, I just want you to go to the door.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's like, oh my God, can we get on the same page, please?
It's like that's like the kids most days.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love working with kids.
No, but it is like wrangling cats.
yeah, especially the little ones when
Yeah.
they're like, I'm going over here, and you're like, your
I see a
desk.
blue thing.
Your desk. That's what we asked. But they're also, you know, figuring themselves out, and like their
Yeah.
attentions go 15 different ways.
Yeah,
It's a fun time.
exactly. And as a society, we're losing our attention span.
Are we ever?
You know, the adults can't pay attention.
Let alone the children.
Yeah, exactly. And it can't be helped. Like screen time, you know, I remember when my kids were just babies and people were like, oh, I don't let my child watch any TV. I'm like, it's the best babysitter in the world. You know, if you got the right shows on, like my son was super into Power Rangers
Yep.
and my daughter loved Sailor Moon, and Rugrats was a combination. They loved
Yep.
both those things. And
That's a very millennial.
yeah.
Sailor Moon, Rugrats, and
Yeah.
and
I actually
Power
got into the
Rangers.
Sailor Moon thing too.
Right?
myself. You can't help but watch it with the kids, you know.
Well, also too the way, like, I know it was dubbed for English, but it's originally like Japanese or something. I could be wrong. Please don't shoot me. Because some people get really offended if you say
Right.
things wrong.
Yeah.
But that was my, outside of Care Bears, that was kind of like my first, like, oh, we're sending energy. Oh, this is how this
Right,
transforms and
right.
transmutes. And I'm like, there are times when I'm like doing sessions, and I'm like,
You're thinking about the
I'm thinking about
Sailor
all
Moon.
the Sailor.
So you're not doing the Care Bear thing?
No, well, that's there. Whenever someone's like, "Send me light," I'm like, "Yep, Care Bear."
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So you're about to put that heavy load down. So maybe you've had a financial worry, like, you know, maybe the dishwasher broke or the fridge broke and oh my God, I didn't expect this expense. But you're actually building something as well. And you're going to be okay and keep moving forward. The Three of Pentacles is really pushing that move forward, because when you do, you'll get that gift that the 10 will give you. Now, for the daffodil people.
Daffodil people. Okay.
Ooh, you got the Ace of Pentacles
Ooh.
as your first card. So I love this one in my deck. It's just so beautiful.
Kind of regal.
Yeah, it's like a stag and he's
Very like.
muscular and holding up the gold coin. And it truly, and there's other animals surrounding him, but you feel protected. Whoops, it's jumping out of my hand. You feel protected somehow, even though stags aren't, like deer aren't usually like, you don't think, they're not tigers.
But at the same time, a stag has a presence, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have that like commanding, like, don't screw with this person because they're my friend.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
anytime I've ever seen even a deer, like a doe, in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
you can't help but stop and like it feels like the world stops spinning for a minute and you and that deer are in a moment of peace.
Mm-hmm.
I once was driving home one night back when we lived in the country and there was a stag that came out of the woods and was running beside my truck and I'm like, okay, I better slow down because I don't know where you're going
Yeah.
and I don't want to hit you.
Please
But we
don't.
looked at each other through the window and then he just ran off into the woods again.
Maybe the universe is sending you a stag just to be like, keep on.
Yeah. I mean, it was the most beautiful experience, but it was also very scary because I didn't want to hurt him and
Right? Sometimes you wonder about their, like, sometimes I wonder,
their
like,
common sense.
yeah.
It's like, I'm a car, right? I can hit you.
I wonder if they have, like, little, so, like, this is a total brother bear moment
Mm-hmm.
of, like, so there's two moose that sound like the hoser, like the show from the Great White North.
Yeah.
So, whatever those, I can't think of the actors' names. Anyway.
Yeah,
but,
I know who you're talking about.
So, but that made me think of, like, the stag running beside. They're like, I wonder if they have these conversations of, like, I wonder if I can outrun the car.
Yeah.
Should I try? Maybe I shouldn't.
Goes home to his family, says,
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe what happened to me.
I outran a car today and didn't get caught.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, sorry, my brain just went there.
So for the daffodil people, you're starting with a door opening money-wise, very money-related
Yes.
tonight.
I
And,
don't like the ending of this, though.
uh-oh.
Or three of...
Oh, three of swords. I always
Yeah.
want to call it three of hearts because it's three swords stabbing into a
Mhm.
heart. So this is sort of the disappointment card. You can see her.
Yeah.
Like, she does not look like she's having fun. But now you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Save your pennies. And maybe that will lessen.
The disappointment.
Yeah. Pull the next card now that you know from that knowledge.
Ooh, the hermit.
The hermit. Save. That's what I'm hearing. Save.
Okay.
Don't buy that whatever, save your pennies right now because that's what's going to happen is you're going to have something unexpected, disappointing, whatever it might be coming. So, yeah, just stay home, eat in,
Save your pennies.
Save your pennies. Don't buy the extra tarot deck. It'll still be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because money is one of those energies that a lot of people have a hard time mastering. I myself am still
Figuring that out.
figuring that out
100%.
because it's energy that comes in and goes out and comes in and goes out, and like a lot of us are very good at putting it out.
But we're
Not
not,
so
about
good
not
at
about
getting it.
keeping it in.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it is energy. There's always more that can come in, and understanding the concept of there's more than enough for everybody to have lots of money. It's our mind that's kind of blocks us,
And societal pressures. Like
And
I would
societal
say, because
pressures,
like society
definitely.
says one thing,
Yeah,
and we really shouldn't listen to it 100% of the time.
yeah. There was a comedian that had a really funny outlook on it. Is like, we're told, he was American, so we're told to, chase the American dream and be successful and get lots of money, and then when you get lots of money, you're an asshole. It's like, yeah.
Dennis Leary?
No, it wasn't. No.
Okay, because that sounds like something he would say.
But it wasn't him. He was on the SNL crew.
Oh, yes.
And it was like, you're so right. Like, once you get rich, people don't like you.
No.
We're trained to hate rich people, but we want to push you to be a rich person.
Yeah.
It's like,
That flawed logic.
yeah, it's like, what do you want? You're so, like, no wonder we're all messed up around money. And money is often the cause of relationship breakdowns. I often jokingly say a partner will forgive an infidelity faster than they will a money mistake.
Yeah, I'd say that's true.
Yeah. I have a client who they made some mistakes when they were younger. Their partner helped them out, and their partner has never let them forget.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. So they don't trust them with money. And it's like, oh, you got to learn to let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make someone let go of stuff, but I'm like, that is a very toxic relationship you're in right now.
Because then it's like, are you gonna... Yeah.
Are you going to you know, like I get you have to build the trust up again, but at the same time, it's like, well, let the trust sort of start to happen, you know? You can't just say, well, we need to work on it, and then you still 10 years later, 18 years later, whatever, are still holding that thing
You
over
can't.
there. Them, but,
Yep.
you know, maybe it's time to divide.
Seek other things, other arrangements, whatever that may look like.
Yeah. So we've been on here for a while, but I'm glad we got the cards done. Glad we got to talk about a few things. And, you know, looking for the are you burning out? And sometimes the cards have a way of telling you even before you have felt it. Because burnout, I find, is very much like the alcoholic. You have to hit the rock bottom.
Yeah, you don't realize what you're missing until it's almost gone.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then sometimes you need to lose it in order to realize you're missing it.
Yeah, because when I closed my business, like the brick and mortar part of it, I had to sit with that, and it was a good decision, and I congratulated myself because I old Rhonda would have waited and waited and waited, and become more miserable because I wasn't making the right decision for myself.
But you realize that that's not the way to do things.
So I only went down 7 flights of stairs instead of the full 10.
That's progress. Let's try not to fall down any of the stairs next time. But it's true. It's true. You gotta realize where you're at, and
Yeah.
it's funny. There's a boss I used to have that is like, once you hit 25, you stop volunteering yourself for things. You kind of realize that your time is energy, and your energy could be making you money, and if you're volunteering for things, you're not making any money.
True.
And it's true.
I mean, there's a charitable aspect that we all should
like
encompass in our lives,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be always like all this time
Yeah.
and energy for
I think
somebody.
it was more of a like precursor of like, make sure your boundaries are set, and if
Yes.
this is a space where you want to lend your time, but make sure you have that time to give
Yeah,
and energy to give.
because if
essentially.
you're doing it with bitterness and anger, that doesn't really count. You
No.
know? Here you go, shitbag.
My goodness.
It's like, on the other side, they're going to kind of frown on that.
Yes.
But thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe to our channel, ring the bell so you know when these lives are happening, because I'm hoping to do more interactive, like card pulling
Yeah.
and stuff for people. And please leave a comment below. What would you like to see? Do you have a situation in your life that maybe we can just analyze a little bit with the cards?
Ooh, that'd be a good idea. I'd do like a series of like, this is what the cards are saying.
Yeah.
Here's some choices that you may have to make.
Yeah.
That could be a way of,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah, relationships, money. If you want health, we can look at that, but we're not doctors.
No, we're not. I went for a degree in social sciences, not MD.
Yeah, that's right. And I went to beauty school because medical school was too expensive.
Right? Oh, medical school. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Very talented people. Glad they went.
But they come out of university with a huge debt load. Anyways, that's us for today. And we'll see you next Monday.
Oh, no, but next Monday's Victoria Day.
Victoria Day. So we will not be here Victoria Day. We'll be here the following Monday.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Beautiful. Bye. Thank you.